Hi Artzy Girls, this is Ariana Silver. I'm here with Leslie Bailey, known as the Adventuress, and her mission is to help you get up and get out and explore your city. So, should it? Thanks so much for doing this. It's really excited for me to get to interview you.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so did you know you wanted to pursue a creative career?
I did know that I wanted to pursue a creative career, but I didn't know what that meant. So I tried a lot of different things, and through those experiences found that I liked writing, and one thing led to another, and that's how I wound up as a writer.
Okay. Were you creative when you were a girl, or did that change later?
Oh, I was always creative. I spent a lot of time doing fashion sketching and writing in a journal, and my parents were really good about supporting me, and they let me paint my bedroom. I painted my bedroom when I was little as a rainforest, the entire thing. I painted every wall and got to just decorate it however I wanted, so I have a lot of different ways to express myself. So through the years, I've tried different things, but, creativity, I danced and I wrote and I kind of did anything that sparked my interest at the time.
That's really interesting. I love fashion sketching. It's really fun. Yes.
And things now, they make so many other, they have so many different kits and books and all sorts of stuff that I didn't have, but, of course, the activity is the same, however you do it. And I haven't done it in a long time, but I do enjoy sketching.
So how did your writing career get started? Did you have any special training, and was there anyone in particular who inspired you or helped?
Well, I was in college. My major was communications, so I was not a journalism major, which is what a lot of writers and reporters do, especially when at the paper. I was approached by a friend who asked if I wanted to write a blog for what was at the time, it was called Indie.com, and it was the Indianapolis Star's website that was more for a younger crowd, people who were going out and having fun in the city. And so, and they weren't paying me. It was just a fun thing to do. And I said, sure, why not? And so after some time, that developed into some freelance writing assignments, and I met a woman who's my editor now here at the paper. Her name's Amanda Kingsbury, and she sort of really mentored me and molded me and shaped me and taught me a lot of things. And from there, I started my own personal blog, and I really enjoyed the feedback that I got from readers, either, oh, that touched me in some way, or it made me laugh, or it entertained, it just, I felt like I was doing something to inspire people or teach them something or entertain them, and I liked that feeling. And eventually my freelancing work led to a point where I had my own business doing freelancing, and then in August I was offered a full-time job here. So it was sort of a snowball effect from one little thing that led to something a lot bigger.
Okay, so what do you think were the hardest things you had to overcome?
Oh, probably, let me think. The first thing would be just my own self-confidence. I felt that since I hadn't had formal training, that maybe that would get in the way, since I didn't go to journalism school, and I didn't have as much experience as other people. I let that get to my head a lot and made me a little bit insecure, and I compared myself to a lot of people. But I had to work through that, and then once I finally did, I don't know, became more confident, I guess. Um, and, in my position, sometimes people don't like what I write. They don't like the way I write, or they don't like what I have to say. And sometimes people will let you know, and sometimes they do it in a nice way, and sometimes they do it in a not so nice way. So you sort of have to get thicker skin, especially when you're doing something creative. Again, whether that's dance or anytime you're doing something and you're putting yourself out there, you're at a risk for someone to not like it, and you just have to get to the point where that's okay.
Okay, so did you almost ever give up, or were there people who ever doubted you?
I have definitely almost given up several times in different ways. Even on my personal blog right now, the last post I wrote, I think, was in October, and I just sort of decided to take a break. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to start again writing here probably in January. A lot of it was to do with time and just not having the time to do it. But, you know, you just get a little bit burnt out, and there are where you just have to know what is good for you at the time. I never had anyone that said I couldn't do something. Again, once you put yourself out in public, there are people who might say that you're not very good at something, but no one in my family or friends ever doubted me. Everyone's always been very supportive. I don't think that my parents took it very seriously in the beginning, but once they saw that I was actually getting paid, unfortunately, that's what it took for them to maybe realize that it could be a career. But your parents, you know, when you're my age, your parents want you to be successful and have your own living. So sometimes people measure success differently, and sometimes it's with money, and sometimes it's with publication, and you know, it just has to depend on what's important to you.
Great advice. We think you're great, definitely.
Oh, thank you.
So what do you think was the secret to your success?
I think it was saying yes to a lot of things. Knowing when to say no definitely is important, and knowing what you're not interested in. But when you're not sure and something piques your interest, to just say, yeah, I'll try that. As long as it's, you know, nothing that can hurt you or be bad for you. If it's a positive thing and a creative thing. When I started my blog, I had never written anything that people on the internet could read, but I thought, well, I'll try it, and if I don't like it, then I'll stop. And fortunately, that led to good things, so I'm glad I did try it. But I've gone on TV shows and radio shows, and there's always the first time where you think, oh my gosh, I can't do that, or I wouldn't like that, but if you can just get through it once, and then tell yourself if you don't like it, you'll never do it again, then that's kind of a good way to find out. So I think taking some chances every now and then is very important.
Great. So what is your favorite part of your job?
I think my favorite part is that I get to do a lot of fun things. It's not a very grown-up job, so to speak, in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways it is, and I have to have deadlines and do paperwork and things that aren't always so fun, but at the end of the day, my job is to do fun things and tell people about it. So I can't think of what a better job would be, actually.
Sounds awesome. So I've got one last question.
Okay.
Do you have any suggestions for other girls who want to pursue a creative career, and is there anything you wish someone had told you?
That's a really good question. I think it's very important to find someone that inspires you and mentors you and can be honest with you. So finding another creative girl or woman to maybe learn from or model yourself after is very important. And I think I wish someone would have told me that people aren't always going to be nice when you put yourself out there. I guess I just assumed that everyone wants to be nice to everybody else, and that's not always the case. But that's sometimes just a lesson you have to learn. But it would have been nice if I would have had a little bit more warning, I guess.
Yeah. Great advice.
Thank you.
Thanks again so much for doing this interview.
Oh, thank you. You're a fantastic interviewer.
It's really been a special treat to talk with you.
Thank you. You too.
I really learned a lot, and I know that other girls in our community will too.
Well, good. That makes me very happy. It's an important cause.
Yeah.